Well, here we are making a bit of progress with the Royal Enfield 750 Interceptor, and I've got both carburetors off. That was a bit of a fiddle. There'll be a few choice words used getting them back on there probably. This little spanner, where is it? This one came in very handy, although even with that it's still quite difficult. Anyway, they're off. Before I took them off, as you can see, they're a pair of 389s, but one has got the chopped float chamber, so that relies on the float in this one to get its fuel up to the required levels. And before I took the carburetors off, I actually took this cover off here just to have a look inside, and somebody had fitted the float back to front on the pivot. The black plastic floats, the brass ones don't, but the black plastic ones have the word front on them, and the word front wants to be facing you when the float goes in. This one was facing the other way around. Having said that, I don't think that was the culprit, although I was tempted to put everything back together and try it, but I thought, I checked fitting the float both ways and it seemed to come to a stop at the same sort of height against the needle either way around. Although whether the float might have been able to bind on something when it was fitted the wrong way around, I'm not sure. But anyway, I decided that I'd just get the carburetors off and have a look and see what was going on. And I've been right through everything. This one checked out all right. No problems with the pilot jet or passageways or anything. But this one, the pilot jet, was choked solid for whatever reason. So I've cleared that, and I've obviously checked everything else and put things back together. But what you can do, what's very handy for the pilot passageways, bear in mind you've got three that interconnect. You've got the offset hole at the bell mouth end. You've obviously got where your mixture screw goes in, and that also links up with where the pilot jet itself screws in on a monoblock. And inside there are two pinholes just in there, and one of those, the one nearest the manifold end, connects vertically with this lot. It goes right through, and that's how the small amount of fuel gets metered up into the intake from the pilot passageway. A good way to see that everything's clear and working, I won't actually do it now because it'll make a mess, but if you put these are good with the pipe on them. I put the pipe right in there till it comes to a stop, and then give a good blast, and you want to see the WD-40 shooting out the side if you've got the mixture screw out, and also coming up out that little pinhole in there. And if you see it coming from those places, all your passageways are clear and you're good to go. Well, we weren't all clear or good to go because, like I say, this one here was blocked, but it's clear now. And used a length of copper wire. This stuff, they say not to use wire, but don't know how well the camera's going to pick that up. There it is. But copper wire is far less likely to do any harm than steel wire to the size of a jet when you're pushing it through. And this stuff, it came out of some sort of earthing cable, electrical earthing cable, and it seems to be just the right sort of diameter for pushing through most pilot jets. I know there's pilot jets of different sizes, and also the drilled passageway of the dreaded concentric Mark 1s. So that sort of stuff has worked really well for me over the years, but I think now I'm finally ready to do battle and put these carburetors back on. This one won't be too difficult because I'll be able to get at it from both sides to get the bolts in, but when I come to this one, the one with the float chamber on, I'm going to have a little bit of faffing around getting that bolt in there, but hopefully I'll be able to do it in a reasonable amount of time. I'm going to try, I've seen there's a twist, they've got this breather pipe coming up here, but that's not going to be doing anything because it's twisted by a turn or two, and as a result it's got pinched and flattened, so I'll sort that out as well. And who knows, perhaps a little later on I might be ready to try and start this thing again, and perhaps it'll run a bit better when it does. But let's see how we get on getting the carburetors back in place first.